a presentation by CNSC staff on the Independent Environmental Monitoring Program as outlined CMD 15M15. And Dr. Thompson, the floor is yours.
Donc, je devrais peut-être dire bonsoir, M. Binder et membres de la commission. Mon nom est Patty Thompson. Je suis la directrice générale de la direction de l'évaluation et de la protection environnementale et radiologique. With me today are Ms. Kaiser Francis, the acting director of the Environmental Compliance and License and Laboratory Services Division, Dr. Slobodan Jovanovic, the chief analyst of the CNSC laboratory, Ms. Marie-Pierre Grondin, and Mr. Elias Dager, who will be making today's presentation. We also have staff involved in field sampling, laboratory analysis, data interpretation, communications, and IMTD with us this afternoon. As you will note, the success of the IEMP, or the Independent Environmental Monitoring Program, is in large part due to the collective effort of this large multidisciplinary group. Staff have discussed the Independent Environmental Monitoring Program and responded to Commission questions in a previous hearing in February. But today we're taking the opportunity to essentially provide a more integrated overview of the program. And so the presentation will focus on the objectives and some background to the program. We will have a brief demonstration on the dashboard that is currently on our website and discuss some of the communications that have taken place and will be taking place in the future. So I will ask Marie-Pierre Grondin to continue with the presentation.
Thank you, Dr. Thompson. My name is Marie-Pierre Grondin, and I am the coordinator for the IMP. I would like to provide you with some information on CNSC regulatory oversight of environmental monitoring. The CNSC regulation requires licensees to develop, implement, and maintain an environmental monitoring program. Under their license, licensees must control releases and monitor levels of contaminants in the environment. As part of CNSC regulatory oversight, staff review and approve licensees' environmental monitoring programs during licensing. Throughout the operation of nuclear facility, CNSC staff conduct various compliance activities to ensure that licensees meet regulatory requirements, license condition, and approve environmental monitoring programs, and that the public and the environment are safe. The CNSC obtained funding from the Treasury Board to upgrade its laboratory in order to support the CNSC licensing and compliance functions. The CNSC moved into the new state-of-the-art laboratory in December 2009. I would now like to provide you with some background information and describe the purpose of this program. The IMP was created to allow the CNSC to independently confirm that the public and the environment are safe and that no health impacts are expected due to the operation of CNSC-regulated facilities. It is important to note that the IMP does not relieve licensees of their responsibilities. Licensees continue to be responsible for their own environmental protection programs, and the CNSC continues to perform our regular compliance activities, such as reviews of compliance report and regular inspections. The Commission and members of the public have on many occasions asked, how does the CNSC independently verify the licensee's results? In addition, the International Atomic Energy Agency, or IAEA, has environmental monitoring requirements for regulators. Requirement 32 of the IAEA Basic Safety Standards state that the regulatory body shall ensure that environmental monitoring is in place and results are recorded, and shall be responsible for making provision for an independent environmental monitoring program. Before creating the IEMP, CNSC staff perform a benchmarking review of environmental monitoring programs and web-based dashboard from other Canadian and international regulatory bodies, such as France, Spain, South Africa, and the United States. These factors were part of what led to the creation of the IEMP. Now, I would like to provide more information on how the program works. The program is planned on an annual cycle. The process starts with the program and sample planning. Therefore, before the sampling seasons begin, CNSC staff determined which facility and what sample will be included in that year's program. Then, from the approved sampling plans, field sampling is conducted, followed by the analysis of the sample at the CNSC Lab, the interpretation of the results by CNSC technical specialists, and the publication of the results on CNSC Interactive IMP webpage. In the next slide, I will provide more detailed information on each step of the process. The selection of sites for sampling campaign takes into consideration any upcoming licensing renewals, direction from the Commission, public concerns, and previous year's monitoring results. The site-specific field sampling plans are then developed and reviewed. They take into consideration guidance from CNSA group standards, any completed environmental risk assessment, the licensee's approved environmental monitoring program, and the CNSC regulatory experience with the site. In 2012, the CNSC staff carried out an IMP pilot where we collected and analyzed samples around the Chalk River laboratory site. Additional sampling was conducted in multiple sites in 2013 and 2014. For 2015, we are planning to collect IMP samples at 11 different sites. These sites include power plants, a processing facility, a research facility, and uranium mines and mills. CNSC staff take samples of air, water, soil, sediment, vegetation, and some local food, like meat and produce, from publicly accessible areas around the facilities. These could include parks, residential communities, beaches, and local farms. All the collected samples are packaged and shipped in accordance to CNSC protocol, respecting the chain of custody to CNSC's laboratory. In this picture, CNSC staff Ed Leader and Kate Peters are collecting a water sample near the Pickering facility. At the CNSC Lab, located in Ottawa, the samples are prepared and analyzed by CNSC staff using best industry practices. The state-of-the-art lab is equipped to analyze samples for both radiological elements and non-radiological contaminant, also called hazardous substances. Featured in this slide is laboratory senior analyst Pujing Pan, placing a calibration sample into a high-resolution gamma spectroscopy detector. For your information, here are some of the equipment used to analyze radioactivity in various samples. A gas flow proportional counter, a liquid scintillation counter, and a sodium iodine gamma counter are used to measure gross alpha, beta, or gamma radiation emitting from the samples. The high-resolution gamma spectroscopy and the alpha spectroscopy are used to identify and quantify radionuclides present in the samples. I will now discuss methods and equipment used to analyze non-radiological substances, such as uranium and arsenic, just to name a few. CNSC uses X-ray fluorescence spectroscopy, X-ray diffraction, inductive coupled plasma mass spectroscopy, iron chromatography, and a total carbon analyzer to identify and quantify elements present in the samples. The CNSC Lab has many quality assurance and systematic quality control measures in place. For example, the CNSC Lab participates in proficiency testing exercise provided by IEA as part of the network of analytical laboratories for the measurement of environmental radioactivity, National Research Council Canada, and other Canadian and international providers. The lab achieved passing results in both radiological and non-radiological analysis and continuously scores as one of the top performers. This provides confidence in the laboratory results. The lab also performs systematic quality control by using traceable instrument calibration standards and follow a strict chain of custody for all the samples. CNSC is currently in the process of preparing for laboratory accreditation to ISO 17025. Once a lab report has been generated, a technical report is prepared. The technical report provides an overview of the year's sampling that was conducted around the site. It provides the results of the lab analysis and details the laboratory methods that were used. The technical report also provides an interpretation of the results by comparing the contaminant levels to available guidelines and reference levels, as well as natural background levels, to confirm that there is no impact on the public or the environment. I will now let my colleague Elias Dager introduce the IMP Dashboard published on CNSC's website.
Thank you, Ms. Grante. For the record, my name is Elias Dager, and I'm an Environmental Program Officer with the Environmental Compliance and Laboratory Services Division. I would like to present the IMP Dashboard used to publish results in a user-friendly, interactive manner. First, I'd like to give the Commission a live demonstration of the IMP Dashboard. The dashboard can be accessed from CNSC's website. From the main CNSC webpage, a user can navigate through the IMP dashboard by highlighting the Resource tab and selecting the Independent Environmental Monitoring Program. This will load the IMP landing page, which provides an overview of the program and the process. Below the page, a map of Canada provides icons for CNSC regulated facilities for which IMP results have been published. For today's example, I will select the Bruce A and B nuclear generating stations, which will take us to the site-specific IMP landing page. This page has 3 sections. The top section provides a summary of the sampling that was conducted at the Bruce A and B nuclear generating stations, including an overview of the results and the key conclusions from CNSC staff's assessment. The middle section shows a map of the sampled area. The icons show you where and what type of sample was taken. For instance, a droplet represents water and a cloud represents air. Below the map, a legend is provided, which shows you the types of samples of the other icons. These can also be identified in the legend below. When you click on an icon, a balloon will pop up which contains the unique sample code that identifies the sample as well as the results for that sample. For more detailed information, you can scroll down to the 3rd section, which provides the full data set presented in a table. You'll notice that the unique sample code is provided in the 1st column and corresponds to the sample on the map. In the table, we've compared the results to available guidelines and reference levels to make it easy to see if there are any health concerns. We've also provided background levels where available. Footnotes at the bottom of the table also provide additional information. Above the table, the user can use the Filter Items box to search for specific items and entries in the table. They can also use the Zoom to Elements button to essentially bring up that specific sample on the map, which can then be selected and the results displayed. Future improvements to the dashboard will allow for trending of multiple years of data on a graph and will include the guideline or reference level as well. The CNSC Dashboard was launched in February of 2015 with the 2013 IMP results for the Bruce A and B nuclear generating stations. Following its launch, the dashboard had received very positive feedback from the public and from licensees. One comment submitted from a member of the public even stated that the CNSC is to be commended for taking a step in the right direction by doing its own sampling and not just relying on the license holder's own monitoring and proprietary third-party monitoring. The CNSC dashboard currently includes site-specific information on results for the following locations: the Bruce A and B nuclear generating stations, Chalk River Laboratories, and SRB Technologies nuclear processing facility. In the next fiscal year, we will publish IMP results for 10 additional sites. These sites include the Blind River Refinery, GE Hitachi Nuclear Fuel Fabrication Facility, the former Shield Source Incorporated Nuclear Processing Facility, Port Granby and Welcome Waste Management Facilities, Darlington, Pickering, and Point Lepreau Nuclear Generating Stations, the Port Hope Conversion Facility, and MacArthur Uranium Mine and Key Lake Mill. The next two slides will highlight some of our communication initiatives. As part of the IMP process, CNSC staff ensure that the licensee is provided with the site-specific executive summary and the results before the publication on the dashboard for their information. For all new interactive IMP pages, we inform our interested parties with an email to subscribers, a notice on the latest news headline on the CNSC website, and with a Facebook post. In the last few months, CNSC staff have had the opportunity to present the IMP in many conferences and workshops. For example, in the last month, CNSC staff presented to the Canadian Nuclear Utility Executive Forum and the Canadian Nuclear Association Regulatory Affairs Workshop. We also participated in early March at the CNSC 101 session in Kincardine, Ontario, where we had the opportunity to meet and discuss with members of the community living near the Bruce nuclear generating stations. Finally, in order to inform the Commission and the members of the public, staff have included IMP results, when available, into reports of environmental assessment conducted under the Nuclear Safety and Control Act. Moving forward, we want to continue to communicate with all interested parties. As a courtesy, CNSC staff will inform the licensees prior to each sampling campaign. We will also let the public know that we will be in the area by posting a notice on Facebook prior to the sampling. Our field technician will have a public-friendly pamphlet to provide the public if there are any questions on our activities and objectives. In spring 2015, a new CNSC YouTube video featuring Mary Pierre and myself will be posted online to help explain the program in plain language. We will also continue to email subscribers and post the latest news notices when new IMP results become available. Finally, the IMP results will be included in the CNSC's annual reports. In terms of next steps, the laboratory staff are currently completing the analysis of the 2014 samples. Then, staff will finalize the technical reports and create dashboard pages from the previous sampling campaigns. As previously mentioned, we are currently in the process of planning the 2015 IMP sampling campaign. Finally, we are considering further community outreach and consultation opportunities for the public and Aboriginal groups. For example, we could conduct community outreach that would include both internal and external workshops to look at lessons learned and how we can continuously improve the program. I will now let Dr. Thompson conclude this presentation.
I'd like to thank you for providing us with the opportunity to present the Independent Environmental Monitoring Program. As you saw, the IEMP aligns with the IEA safety requirements, specifically number 32 in the basic safety standards. And it is one more way that we can confirm that the regulation of the nuclear industry is effective in protecting the health of the public and the environment. We believe this program adds transparency to the compliance verification processes and helps CNSC achieve our mandate of disseminating objective scientific regulatory information to the public. And we're available to answer your questions.
Thank you.